Sergei Skripal, 66, left, and his daughter Yulia, 33, remained critically ill in hospital after a suspected poisoning in Salisbury, Wiltshire. Photo, PA, Cahal Milmo 8 hours Tuesday, March 6, 2018. The investigation into the suspected poisoning of a former Russian spy was dramatically escalated on Tuesday as counterterrorism officers stepped in to lead inquiries. MI6 agent Sergei Skripal, 66, last night remained critically ill as it was confirmed that the woman found collapsed beside him on a park bench in Salisbury on Sunday is his 33-year-old daughter, Yulia, who was visiting him from Moscow. The focus at this time is to establish what has caused these people to become critically ill. Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley, Metropolitan Police Portadown. Both father and daughter were fighting for their lives in intensive care as doctors, including scientists from the Military Research Laboratory at Portadown, raced to identify the toxic agent that caused the pair to suddenly become catatonic following a meal out. Experts at Portadown were instrumental in identifying the radioactive isotope polonium-210 used to poison and murder Russian intelligence officer Alexander Litvinenko in 2006. A restaurant and a pub in Salisbury remained sealed off as it emerged that an unspecified number of emergency workers who tended the Skripals also received treatment after complaining of sore eyes and breathing difficulties. One police officer remains in hospital. The growing gravity of the suspected poisoning was underlined by an announcement from Scotland Yard that its counter-terrorism unit would be taking the lead in investigating. Senior officers underlined the incident was not being treated as a terror attack. Open Mind Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley, Britain's most senior counter-terrorism officer, said police continued to have an open mind about the incident, adding there was no risk to the wider public. He said, "The focus at this time is to establish what has caused these people to become critically ill." Home Secretary Amber Rudd was expected to chair a meeting of the government's Cobra Emergency Committee on Wednesday to receive a further update on the investigation. The Russian embassy denied what it said was reporting in the British media that Mr. Skripal was the target of planned action by the Russian security services, describing the suspicions against Moscow as part of a new phase of an anti-Russian campaign. Death of son. As CCTV images emerged of Mr. Skripal and his daughter walking through Salisbury city centre on Sunday afternoon in apparent good health minutes before their collapse, it emerged that the family had expressed concern at the death of the former agent's son, Alexander, in Russia last year. The 43-year-old died last summer in St. Petersburg in what was initially reported as a car crash. The BBC reported that family members then became suspicious when it emerged that he had instead suddenly fallen ill and died of liver problems. There were unconfirmed reports that at the time Mr. Skripal, who has not assumed a new identity since arriving in Britain after a spy swap in 2010, had gone to police in Britain expressing fears for his safety. He has lost his brother, wife and son within the last 5 years. Vladimir Putin. The widow of Mr. Litvinenko praised quick action by the police in Salisbury, something which she said had been conspicuously absent in her husband's case, but warned of what she said were lax controls on people entering the country. A public inquiry subsequently found that the former Russian intelligence officer had been murdered by Moscow's agents, probably with the personal approval of President Vladimir Putin. Marina Litvinenko said, "I appreciate the very quick police investigation, which is exactly what didn't happen in our case. It shows people are not secure and not safe and means that something is wrong. This is not because of the protection received inside Britain, but it's about who is allowed come to the UK. Tests could take days." Experts warned it could be several days before the substance to which the Skripals were exposed is identified by scientists, either at Portadown or hospital laboratories in London and Birmingham. Alistair Hay, Professor Emeritus of Environmental Toxicology at the University of Leeds, said, "Individuals cannot provide unlimited amounts of blood for testing. Some tests are rapid. But if the cause is more unusual, body fluids will require significant cleanup preparation before they can be put in an instrument. So this could take a day or several days." No information. One of those released from Russian detention along with Mr. Skripal, who had been recruited by MI6 in the mid-1990s while working for Russian military intelligence, said he was unsure that the former colonel would be targeted. Igor Satyagin, who is now a research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, told BBC's World Tonight program, "I don't know that he would be targeted, because he was pardoned." In Moscow, the Russian Foreign Ministry said it had no information about the illness afflicting the Skripals, but it was open to cooperation. iNews https://inews.co.uk